Welcome back for another helping of Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I'm Ross Bolen here with my buddy Barrett Dudley to bring you the best TV shows and movies weekly in an easily digestible podcast packed with laughs. Happy New Year, Barrett.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
What's good?
Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ristretto Ross.
Where are we? January, wait, what am I?
You're Ristretto Ross.
Is a ristretto a kind
Ristretto
of coffee
is
I'm
a type
unfamiliar
of,
with?
It's a type of coffee bean or espresso bean.
I'm the lamest coffee
ristretto.
person.
Yeah.
I'm the worst.
That's
you know
what you hit me with the curb reference, and so I had to come up with something really quickly, and that's what I came up with.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. So
It's an R coffee. That's all you needed. I'm such a lame coffee person. I'm like you know how there's levels to your knowledge of wines.
Sure.
And some people are wine snobs and they know all these different things about wine. And then there's the most basic person ever who's like, "Can I get a red?"
Yep.
I'm that for coffee.
Okay.
I just order a vanilla latte every time I go. I don't know a ristretto or any of these other ones. So
yeah.
maybe I'm excited to learn about some coffees on Curb this season.
For sure.
Yeah. We're going to be celebrating the return of Curb Your Enthusiasm today, discussing The Witcher's penultimate and season 1 finale. We're going to be covering HBO's The Outsider through episode 3 as well. Lots of TV we've been watching.
A whole bunch of TV.
Good
TV. I got it all done. I watched
it
all. We watched it all. We're here. We're on time. We saw everything that we said we were going to see, and
no broken promises this week.
I just feel, it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was good TV.
I feel accomplished
good
as well.
Stuff.
You and I are starting to get the hang of spacing out our viewing a little bit.
Yeah.
It takes some weekend time.
It does take some weekend time.
That's the discovery.
That's what I'm learning. When you are in on a Friday or a Saturday night,
got to get some in.
You have to go like 50-50 on like watching stuff that you just want to fool around with and watch on your own, and you also have to do a little bit of your homework. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
Otherwise, it's Monday night and you have like 4 hours of TV that you have to slam in,
which I've also done,
and it's not, and that's not easy, nor is it very pleasant.
It's not pleasant or healthy. Methinks, especially with these shows. My God, there's so much craziness.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on your mind.
Absolutely.
But no, we're watching a ton of TV. It can also take a toll on your eyes, which brings us to our first sponsor, Felix Gray.
Wow.
This episode of OCC brought to you by Felix Gray. You may not realize it, but the average American blasts their eyes with bright screens for 11 hours every day. And when you consider how much our day revolves around watching TV and streaming and movies and all the different shows we watch, and then also our phones and our computers, it's really not that shocking that we're doing 11 hours at this point. The fact is we can't eliminate that extensive screen time from our lives, but we can protect our eyes from it with a pair of Felix Gray blue light filtering glasses available in both non-prescription and prescription. The majority of us, we live with tired, dry eyes and blurry vision and headaches caused by screens. By the end of the day, it's miserable. If that sounds familiar to you, it's very familiar to me as a guy who's worn contacts since he was like 12 years old. By the end of the day, my eyes are worn the hell out. I need my Felix Grays. I'm staring at screens all day, every day, probably more than 99.9% of the world. And I need these babies. They filter out 90% of high-energy blue light. They eliminate 99% of glare coming from your daily barrage of screens. Unlike other blue light filtering glasses, Felix Gray uses proprietary blue light technology embedded into the lens as opposed to a cheap coating that'll easily chip or scratch over time. And they're on a mission to make fashionable, high-quality blue light protection widely accessible by offering a variety of frames for all face shapes and style preferences. I have the Faraday frames in black, Barrett. Those are the ones that I wear every night when I game or when I watch movies or TV before bed.
It's a lot like Wu-Tang Clan said, protect your eyes.
They did say that,
right?
They did.
Yeah.
Many songs. It was one of their ad-libs.
That's
their
right.
famous ad-libs, the Wu-Tang ad-libs. Yes. I love the Faradays. They're sleek. They're effective. All the Felix Gray frames are handcrafted from the same high-quality materials used in high-end designer frames like organic Italian acetate, German-engineered steel. Felix Grays are available in non-prescription, prescription, and readers, as well as adult and kid sizes. Don't go another day without looking at screens with the help of some Felix Grays. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/OCC for free shipping and 30 days of risk-free returns or exchanges. That's felixgrayglasses.com/OCC, FELIXGRAY glasses.com/OCC.
You ever call them cheaters? Oh, where are my cheaters?
No, is that an old people saying?
That's what they call their readers. They're cheaters.
Honey, get my cheaters.
Get my cheaters.
I need them. No, never heard that one. But
well, now you can introduce it into your lexicon.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On Patreon in January, on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, we have covered the movie 1917 as our movie club movie. We are covering the Talented Mr. Ripley as our throwback movie club.
Yes.
What else? What else have we been doing on there in this fine month of January?
I'm already looking forward to tomorrow's Talented Mr. Ripley podcast. Yeah. Because I'm looking forward to doing I'm going to do a bit to start off that podcast, as I sometimes do.
You sometimes are want to do.
It's a great one. It's just a really
You already know what it's going to be?
Oh yeah, it's a great bit.
Have you watched the movie already?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're fully ready.
Yeah, I told you I did my homework this weekend.
How many times have you seen the Talented Mr. Ripley?
This was my very first viewing.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be this is going to be a good conversation because you'll have seen it for the first time. This will be like my 10th or 15th time.
Yeah. Okay.
This is one of those ones I watched a lot.
And
like I became kind of obsessed with it at one point.
What a trip!
The guy is just unbelievable.
That little skinny 1999 Matt Damon.
He really
kind of jacked.
He really dorks out for you.
Yeah,
He's wider than
big
you
dork.
and I.
Big dork.
If that Matt Damon were here, you and I would look tan by comparison. The pastiest motherfucker alive.
Yeah. Well, Jude Law
calls him
out on it.
He does indeed. Yeah.
That old white bastard. Yeah.
You're doing that as well.
So we got that. And then obviously hotline calls later in the month. And also, we've talked a little bit about this before, but we just really nailed the movies that we did for Movie Club in 2019. So when you subscribe at patreon.com/oysters, clams, and cockles,
just cockles. Oysters,
clams, cockles.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you subscribe there and you join the Crustacean Nation or the Mollusk Militia and you're doing some catching up before the Oscars on all of the nominated films, well, we have companion podcasts for many of them.
We do, as well as we covered the Golden Globes in early January, which gives you a good idea of what's coming with the Oscars. Even if you missed the Golden Globes for some reason, this recap will help you understand.
But yeah, including Joker, aka Joker.
Yes, we watched.
And then also,
Joker.
Of course, respect
Parasite.
Mr. Park. Shouts to all my parasites out there. Parasite, which is also. Last week, 1917 was picking up steam. This week, it's Parasite picking up steam.
I saw that. I've noticed.
People are out there.
I feel that
and they are respecting
the hype.
Mr. Park.
They are more and more respect for Mr. Park.
More and more respect for Mr. Park.
In the world this last few days.
Is nice to see. So
getting some love from celebrities and such.
We've only been begging for it for like 5 months now. So
our girl Sansa is one of many celebrities to shine a light on Parasite as of late.
Wow.
With her Instagram story.
That's nice.
She said she hasn't been able to stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really fucks you up when you're really rich and you watch that movie.
So
it's a whole different deal.
Great content over there on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles.
Did we cover The Irishman on our normal show?
We did an Irishman on our normal show.
Okay. Yeah, but lots of good stuff there.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. Join the Crustacean Nation or the Mollusk Militia. Support OCC. Support the podcast. Support Barrett and I. And get some extra OCC every month in exchange. You can get twice as much as the people who don't have Patreon. Imagine that. Let's start with a show that's rooted in reality.
I wanted to talk Curb first, so I'm glad this is I'm glad this is first on the list.
It didn't really make sense to delve into like the realm of The Witcher or The Outsider
and then circle
come back to Larry David. We have to start with Larry. The season 10 premiere of Curb Your Enthusiasm was Sunday. Did it come out Sunday?
Premiered Sunday, yeah.
Okay, I watched
it. But late.
Okay, I watched it yesterday because I didn't see it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And my God. Well, first of all, it was about 45 minutes, wasn't it? It was a little bit longer.
38 was the runtime.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
didn't feel like it though. It went by in a flash for me.
What did you think of the episode? I guess.
Well, I wanna give a little bit of backstory here.
Okay.
I was not a big fan of season 9.
Okay.
In fact, I didn't even finish it. I got 3 or 4 episodes in. The fatwa thing was like funny, but not really doing it for me.
Didn't do it for me either.
And it just kind of fell off.
Wasn't my favorite season.
I need to go finish it just because I'm a completist on this type of stuff.
Yeah.
For the same reason that I'm going to watch this final season of Homeland. I need to finish season 9 of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Don't put those in the same.
No,
tank.
I'm not. But I'm just saying from like from my mental
fair.
For my sanity.
It's about the finish line.
Yeah, I'm never going to be, I won't be okay because I'm definitely going to finish this season of Curb. then I'm just gonna have this 8-episode or 6-episode gap or whatever. That's not cool. I'll go finish it. Anyways,
And you'll also find gold individually, like in a rough Curb season. You can still have a few episodes that are unbelievable.
so I was a little concerned about this season and Larry David and his ability to throw strikes, essentially. And
that was silly of you.
I think that this episode was really good, very funny. I laughed out loud at multiple points, but it did have me thinking about Curb Your Enthusiasm in 2020 and about the show's legacy and influence overall.
Okay.
Yeah. So track with me here.
Okay.
A relatively early joke in this episode is the 2020 is the Happy New Year one.
Yes.
And that is the type of like subtle cultural, like societal and cultural reference that Curb traded on in its early seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
The chat and cut, and like the various little
the more Seinfeld-y vibe.
Yes,
yeah.
the little like, isn't this a strange little thing
about humanity?
Yeah. Right? And I think those early seasons of Curb that did those so well, they influenced comedy in that way. They made those realizations a very popular form.
Normalized those little intricacies that people make into comedy.
And now in the media saturation age, where we're all on Instagram every day, and guess what didn't really exist for the last season of Curb, and definitely not any of the ones before that? Meme culture.
Oh, definitely not.
And so now not only do we have thousands upon thousands of Twitter comedians that basically make these types of observations 40 times a day.
Way more commonplace, sure.
But now we have things like Dude with Sign on Instagram that literally like a week before this episode premiered made the "it's too late to be saying Happy New Year" joke.
Yeah.
And
But
so
here's the thing. Hold on, though, because I don't want to put those... Yes, the Dude with Sign, and by the way, that's a Fuck Jerry production. I'm so sick of people tagging me in it and sending it to me.
I think they signed him. I think it started as just a dude, and then Fuck Jerry basically was like...
I think they bore that idea.
You think they did?
Mm-hmm.
That's totally possible. I'm not sure.
And I don't support those people, is what I'm saying. But there's also a massive, massive gap between the cheapness of meme culture and the masterful execution of comedy on screen. So while, yes, you can get many of the same cheap, like the same observations or the same... Your comedy is so much more readily available, and we can get these little quick-hitting, like, ha-ha memes whenever we want.
Yeah.
So it's changed for sure, but I still don't let that doesn't, like, eat at the...
Yeah, and I guess, like, the reason I started thinking about that is because those pieces of Curb in this episode particularly...
Yeah.
Like the Happy New Year, Larry, and the Big Goodbye, those pieces weren't hitting for me like the other pieces of Curb that only Curb can do. Still.
Yeah, totally agree there.
Like
those were the two least funny jokes of the episode to me.
Larry and Susie squaring off against each other
is the funniest thing in the world.
Will always be like
Oh, for sure.
The funniest part of this show. Larry getting himself into these sticky situations where he's subtly sitting there in his robe and his MAGA hat, and Jeff looks like Weinstein, and and his secretary comes in and thinks he's friends with that.
As far as setup episodes go of Curb, this was one of the better ones ever.
Yeah, it was incredible. But Larry finding the dog hair in his cereal bowl, and then the physical comedy of him gagging and spitting up the cereal onto his sweatshirt, like that had me. I was like, I was like crunched over on the couch laughing so hard.
Yes,
when he just starts spitting up the cereal. But I just wanted to. I thought it was interesting to watch, given that we get in 2020 and 2019, like we're inundated with those little cultural observations now.
Sure.
They get made all day. They're put in front of us on every single social media platform. And so it's interesting to see kind of like Larry David and Curb, they kind of have to do those because they're good setups and it's what the show has always done and been good at. But they just it's just interesting, you know.
It's a weird dynamic.
You're gonna
for
run
sure.
into situations with things like dude with sign who made the January joke before the show Larry wrote the episode, or whoever wrote the episode came up with that.
Now that's a
4 months
comedy
ago or
problem.
5 months ago.
That's a comedy problem in general too, though, because I've noticed that on other shows as well. I've noticed jokes from social media work their way into television. That's also just the result of like, of course people come up with everybody's trying to make jokes on Twitter. You're gonna get the same jokes, and then there are people in writers' rooms coming up with jokes. You're gonna come up with the same jokes, and we're all making topical jokes.
I mean, a lot of them are the same people, I think.
Jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes. Yeah,
a lot of like the low key popular Twitter follows.
Yeah,
are people that write for TV.
Yeah, a lot of the people I follow are sub 50,000, and they write for SNL or they write for whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
And to your point, those jokes, first of all, the big goodbye missed me entirely, and that happens often with Curb. They sometimes, his Larryisms that he tries to force in, or that he does often force in, sometimes they miss. The big goodbye was not one for me that I was like, that's common enough to be hilarious to me. I was like, no, this isn't a thing, really. But sure.
And again, like that goes back to the thing in season 10, and I do sometimes get the vibe that like they like you said, they're kind of forcing those because stuff in the early seasons like that
worked so well.
But
there were even in the early seasons, there were ones for me where I was like, what? But I get that's just his thing.
Yeah.
Now that being said, the situational comedy, him facing off with Mocha Joe, this ending with him creating a Latte Larry's next door.
Yeah.
That's going to be ridiculous. That's a great setup for the season. That's much better than I want to make a Broadway play about a fatwa or whatever. That was stupid. This is way more Seinfeld feeling. It's rooted in coffee shops. The fucking Jeff looks like Harvey Weinstein shit made me cry. I was dying.
That was so funny.
Because I follow Jeff on Instagram, the actor. Jeff Garland, I believe is his real name. Yeah. And he is, he'll put up, he's a weird fucking dude.
Yeah.
He'll put up like pictures of himself in whitey tighties, like Walter White style, and say like, everybody have a great Wednesday. But he knows it's funny, but he just doesn't give a shit. Like, so it hadn't struck me how much Jeff looks like Harvey when he's a little unshaven with a 5 o'clock shadow, when he's got the Harvey Weinstein degenerate scruff going.
Yes.
And I nearly died. They killed that. And then when they brought it full circle at the end with Larry's execution of the concept of wearing a MAGA hat to ward other humans away.
That was absolutely incredible.
Only Larry could pull that off.
Yeah,
too.
and that was observational comedy. Like, what if you did blank, right? Because people feel this type of way.
Yeah, these are the insane ideas he comes up with, though, as a person.
But it's so, that was like one that was natural to play out because it involves other people and it involves like real life situations.
Yeah.
That was so funny and very, very relatable here in a city like Austin, which would basically be the same type of thing.
Yeah, we're in the heart of Texas, so it will happen on occasion. But we're in Austin, it's a very liberal city, so it's definitely something. Hey, I've got a grandpa who will rock a MAGA hat on occasion. He has now stopped wearing it in lieu of a same color. One of the other versions of the American flag that's less offensive. Or whatever. I mean, still offensive, but less offensive.
I think we may have had a brief conversation about this when we were at dinner on Friday, because we got to talking about your grandpa, but. Leaving Houston a couple weekends ago, I pulled up at the gas station before getting on 10, and the guy filling up his tank next to me was just wearing his everyday clothes, normal as could be, with a "Make America Great" hat again on. And it was just like, I didn't know what to do with myself because it was jarring, because we never see that here. I don't think I've ever seen somebody in Austin wearing it.
It doesn't faze me. I notice it, but it's not like the Nazi swastika to me. It's not the same level. Like some people freak the fuck out.
We cannot put it on the same level as a Nazi swastika.
People freak the fuck out though. It's the same level.
But I'm just saying, like, because we don't see that here.
Yeah. The
was
joke
like,
hit extra hard. The joke hit super hard.
It's just kind of, it's just some, it's not normal for me to see that. So it was surprising and just like,
you know what else it made me think though? It made me sad because I realized nobody in like the states that need to see that joke would probably watch this show because they all think Larry's liberal scum.
I don't know. We're obviously gonna. I don't know if that's totally true. Like I think
it's weird if the hardcore right America is okay with Curb, they should be okay with a lot more stuff.
Well, okay, but I don't think hardcore right America is down with any of the like kind of the upper echelon of like TV, whether it's drama or comedy.
Maybe not.
Right?
I don't know.
Those people don't. That group doesn't strike me as like hardcore television
I'm thinking
watchers.
of the dude who would wear that hat. Would he watch this show ever? No.
Yeah, but he's also probably not watching The Outsider.
No. Or listening to our podcast. It's unlikely.
Like the entertainment industry, if you're this
interested
in entertainment,
you're
probably not that far right.
You're probably a little more artsy, which tends to be a little more. Yeah, you're definitely right. That's weird. People who are really into the arts or like entertainment and stuff.
Yeah,
that's definitely a more liberal type of thing.
But just to speak to the show's like political stance, we're obviously gonna have a great time with Larry getting Me Too'd, even though he didn't actually assault anybody.
And honestly,
so it's going to have some commentary that doesn't fit like a super woke liberal narrative as well.
For sure. No, you're right. And honestly, that was the moment when they framed that up, because at the beginning you're like, oh my God, is he gonna? And then when it's all framed up to do the full blown Me Too thing,
yeah,
it was the most excited I had become throughout the whole episode because we haven't had any really good comedic analysis of that movement. Some stand-ups have attempted to address it, and it's just been sort of either weird or like they were personally Me Too'd themselves and their career was ruined, like Louis or Aziz, who had to respond to some things and handled it sort of weirdly between an apology and this guy is who I need making jokes about that. He's the dude who can handle that situation.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, a TV show is, especially one like Curb, which takes your real life situations and puts like a magnifying glass on them, or even kind of blows them up into a caricature. Because Larry David, we know that Larry David himself is not this intolerable and curmudgeonly.
No, but these are his like inner desires and feelings sort of thing.
So it's kind of like you take that id and you blow it up and you put it on the screen.
Right.
So it's just a better vehicle to do that. With the stand-ups, that was difficult because I think because of the perception of when a stand-up makes a comment about what's going on, it immediately sounds like they're defending or kind of like apologizing.
It can
being a Louis apologist, which is not a good look.
No,
and that's not what Larry's going to do here.
No. I wouldn't think so. You're jostling the fetus.
You're jostling.
I love it. Dude, it's funny, like, because he'll get like 10, 12 different subjects into each episode, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them will be so random. And like him mixing in pregnant women and their activity levels when they're pregnant and how it makes him feel bad for the baby in there was just so random and hilarious. And the arguments he has with these people face to face, like, that's the part of it that would never happen in real life, right?
Yeah.
Like you would never say something to that person and then have the argument.
Right.
But that's where the show takes it, and it's just the funniest goddamn thing in the world still.
Yeah.
Now, I'm with you to close out our Curb discussion. The last, couple seasons or whatever, like especially the most recent one, the Fatwa, it didn't hit for me. I didn't love it. I still love Larry. I would watch season 48 of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry in a wheelchair, and he can only speak through like a Stephen Hawking machine. If it comes to that, I'm in. I don't care. This guy's funny enough and a legend enough and an icon enough to me. I'm going to watch anything he does, no matter fucking what or how stupid it may be. This season feels, though, like it is. Episode 1 was everything I want in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Totally.
And if that didn't set us up for a successful season, then I don't know what will. So, good start.
Yes.
Right?
It also, for me, it had the right dose of Leon, which
Yeah.
again, I feel like Curb got itself in kind of got itself into a corner with. It was
It
like,
did.
oh, people love Leon.
And
so
then they
we
moved
need
his entire
we
family
need
into Larry's
way
house.
more Leon.
Yeah.
And that was actually really funny.
It was a great season.
But was that 7 or 8?
I want to say 6 or 7.
It's maybe been 6 or 7. Anyway, in
They're always so spread out. I can't
Yeah.
remember which season was which.
anyways, I don't think Leon, you got to utilize him in the right way.
For
And
sure.
This episode did it perfectly.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry sleeping with Cheryl. Very unexpected development as well.
Yes.
Stoked to have Cheryl back in the fold. Their dynamic is ridiculous. The puppet thing was absurd. I don't even, what the hell. Great first episode of Curb. Welcome back, Curb. Happy New Year, Mocha Joe. You ready to talk The Witcher?
Yeah. That's Cheryl Hines that plays
Cheryl.
on there.
She's phenomenal.
And
Very unique mouth.
54 years old, low-key hot.
Oh, low key, high key, all the keys. She's just hot. She's always been hot. She's very unique looking though.
Yeah,
Like very
yeah.
unique looking individual.
But no, she's always been,
Spicy.
yeah,
Yeah.
spicy.
The Witcher, Barrett. We watched the penultimate episode 7
Yeah,
and the finale, episode 8.
we did.
If you have not watched The Witcher, now is the time to skip or exit. We are going to be doing spoilers all over the fucking place of season 1 of The Witcher. If you didn't watch The Witcher, go watch The Witcher. We've covered the entire first season. Let's talk penultimate and finale. Let's just sort of throw it all up,
Yeah,
up
we
on
can
the wall,
we'll
shall
throw
we?
it all up together. Yeah.
Here's my takeaway
Mm-hmm.
from season 1.
Okay.
Geralt must meet this girl. And then it happens at the very end of season 1.
Yeah.
They're finally brought together after we find out a bunch of their backstory and their
Mhm.
fates and all the reasons that this is important and the surprise stuff and the but that's it. And Yennefer is still off. She's not with them. So now the season ends with the girl
Mm-hmm.
Cirilla asking, "Who's Yennefer?" And then that's going to be season 2.
Yeah, it does.
Is them finding Yennefer.
I guess so.
And I'm betting in the finale of season 2, it'll be Geralt and Yennefer and Cirilla, and then they'll ask who's someone else, and then they'll go find that person. I'm just kidding.
It's possible.
But no, this was a very, very hard to follow in terms of me understanding all of the different characters and where they fit. And then
Mhm.
once we started Dopplers were taking people's faces and shit, which doesn't need to be something we have going on in multiple shows at the same time, but it very
Mhm.
much is at the moment. I confused. Fun? Yes. A good watch? Sure. I love the homie Superman,
Henry
Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
I love the dude. I'm a big fan. But this was craziness. This was insane.
Do you think that the voice is manipulated in post at all, or do you think that
Or
that
he's
is
just
all
hitting
him?
that. Feels like he's just hitting that.
That's pretty impressive.
Feels like he's just
That's
hitting
also I always do. This is what I always do when somebody does crazy voices. I always look to see if there's video of them doing the voices on a talk show.
it. Right.
So, for instance, if you search for Nick Kroll and Big Mouth, you
Okay.
can find him going through the voices on a talk show, and that's always wild to me. It
That
blows my
shit
mind.
always blows my mind with animated series, especially.
Yeah, you're like, that voice is coming out of that person? What the shit? But I can't find one for Henry Cavill yet. Hopefully, maybe he'll do the talk show rounds.
In fact, just to touch on that quickly, Hank Azaria, the guy who did Apu
Uh-huh.
and did so many of the voices for The Simpsons, he's one of the first people I ever saw do a bunch of different voices where I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He's 18 of the characters on that show. And he is no longer going to be doing Apu.
That's right. I saw that.
Very strange that they just now closed that book, by the way, because that's been offensive since we were 15.
Kind of unfortunate that it had to come down to Hank Azaria just being like, "Nah, I'm not gonna read that voice anymore," instead of the showrunners just phasing out the
Matt
character
Groening
like a normal
or
person.
I don't know. It's just it's a weird situation. It's
Yeah.
very strange that he had to be the one to be like, and I'm out.
Yeah.
As a
Anyways, so okay, that was my first question. So, second comment is we left off with episode 6, which was my least favorite episode of the season. The Golden Dragon one.
As it was mine as well.
I did not think it was very well done. Not a super enjoyable episode, all things considered. 7 and 8, we got back on track. They were much better
Yes, then 6 for sure.
The finale had its its
Shortcomings?
Shortcomings, yeah.
It was fucking chaos.
The whole thing with Geralt basically like being in a haze and riding on the back of a trailer for basically the entire episode.
What the hell was that?
Was not how I would have gone.
Wasn't the move?
Doesn't seem like the move. And then he just kind of like stumbles into the right situation at the end and
he's actually trying to run from the right situation.
Finds Ciri.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of like played into the whole like, you can't cheat destiny thing or whatever. But sure
that seemed like there were other folks who could have used some help from Geralt this episode.
That didn't totally play for me. I'm also just a little bit upset. Okay, here's a thing that goes on in TV, and it usually goes one way or the other. Usually, and what The Witcher does feels like an older version of this. So, in the past, TV shows, especially network ones, they pilot, they get a season order, and then the objective of this TV show is to stay on the air for as long as possible.
Right.
Everybody wants to make money. They got to sell a bunch of ads. They want a big popular show that runs for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
So you can feel them like slow playing it or holding back in the first season, usually a lot.
Sure.
And that's the feeling that I got from The Witcher. And in the modern era where people are just like, where we just have so much content pouring in from all of these various,
streaming services, the
and
internet.
networks and internet and everything, a lot of shows have been going more balls to the wall with what they put out there in their first season. They're not leaving a lot on the floor.
Right.
They're just saying, we're going for it. We're going to make the best show possible, and we're going to figure out the later seasons if people want us to make more seasons.
It's like, use the ammo we have, capture the audience now, reload, figure it out later, versus fire one bullet from the clip, and you've got a banana clip and you know it.
Yeah.
So
the
I don't know why my analogies had to be based in gun violence.
So The Witcher
playing too much Apex Legends.
It worked. The Witcher feels a lot like the former, and I'm a little disappointed that we still don't know, quote unquote, what Cirilla is.
Yeah, could we have gotten some more there, man? That's a big problem for me with season 1. I needed more about the girls born under the black moon or whatever this shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get that.
We talked about this last week about how we weren't the entire Cirilla storyline wasn't really doing anything for us.
They didn't,
and just seemed there so that she could meet up with the Witcher at the end, with Geralt at the end,
which is what happened.
And that's exactly what happened. And we're no further on what Cirilla is or what she means to this world at large.
So let's talk about what we did get then.
Okay.
So we get more. We get one of the things I noticed, and I was like, oh wow, we're getting Geralt's childhood suddenly. We see a little bit of him as a boy, right?
Yeah.
With his mother.
Yes.
Now what unfolds?
No idea.
It's just a scene. We just get to see that to see what he looked like as a baby or a 3-year-old.
I think she has him go get the water from the stream so that she can ditch him and leave him with Virilus.
Okay, so that was an intentional abandonment.
She was Vicenna, and then the dude was like Virilla or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But when he comes back, she's gone, and that's how he is led down the path to becoming the Witcher that he is.
I believe so. But then when he's talking to her about him becoming a Witcher, and he's like, "You left me on the doorstep" or something.
Right.
We never see that. So that didn't all.
And that was a vision. She's dead and gone. That was his young mother in a vision, right?
We think
maybe.
So?
We don't know. It seems like probably.
Again, with the finale, what they did with Geralt being in this weird haze for 60 minutes was an odd choice to me.
Yes, very odd. And you figure even if you wrote that, like you'd have someone read it and they'd be like, wait, so you're gonna have your main character in a fucking knockout the whole last episode?
Yeah.
And then that writer would have been, oh no, that's stupid.
But no, the thing with his childhood wasn't super well explained. But I think what we were supposed to take from that is that his mom abandoned him.
We already knew that shit though.
At the Witcher training camp, basically.
Right.
At Witcher, what do they call it when you go off to the military and you
get
boot camp?
Base training.
Witcher boot camp.
Basic training.
Basic training.
Yeah,
Witcher basic training.
Yeah. Well, Apparently, they really do some shit to your eyes that he was upset about.
Well, only 3 out of 10 kids even make it through the final trial.
Yeah, he's real pissed off about being a Witcher.
Yeah.
That's another thing to take away from this season. He's upset.
Which we kind of had gathered previous.
He's very upset. No, look, I'm going to watch season 2. I'm going to give this one a shot. Let it ride as a fun show that I'm watching or whatever. But it certainly didn't take me the way it has some of the Witcher hive. There are those who are, I believe most of the people who have hit me up to say that they're, it's one of the best shows they've ever seen. They're so obsessed with it. They love it. Most of those people are either book readers or video game players or somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how many normies like you and I who came in with zero knowledge are getting fully sucked into this versus I think you probably enjoyed it a little bit more than I did, but I don't know. I don't think either one of us got the full Witcher.
I mean, I'm.
You're not Googling shit about the Witcher universe, are you?
No, and I'm largely here for the romp, if you will.
That's where I'm at.
The world building and the storytelling has not been the best, but the show is fun. And like we said last week, I really like Geralt and I really like Yennefer. They're both very attractive, engaging characters.
Yeah, let's get rid of some of these other fucking people, though.
Great on-screen charisma. So that alone is holding me. Speaking of characters that I like, though, another thing that I was a little miffed at was that they didn't bring Jaskier back.
Where the fuck was the bard?
Where was the bard? I thought for sure when Geralt was like, we have to go to the other side of something to save me. I thought he was going to find Jaskier. I thought he was like, I know the one guy that will save my dead ass with this leg bite that I have.
This shit killed me.
Yeah.
Getting no bard. With our finale.
So we just leave him with the sad goodbye when Geralt tells him to fuck off, basically. That was kind of mean.
Yeah, this felt like they fumbled a little bit at the 1 yard line or whatever. Like the finale didn't. There's too many things we just named that are very, very big problems, or like things that they could have easily avoided or solved. Not series ruining or anything like that, but just gaffes where I'm like, damn, dude, you could.
Again, I mean, we like I looked down about 3/4 of the way through this episode to see how far I was into it, and I looked.
That's never good.
And I looked just because, and I looked over at Laura and I said, "Oh, they're gonna cliffhang
the shit.
They're gonna cliffhang the shit out of us, aren't they?"
Yeah.
And that's basically what they did. Now, just to talk about the story in general, for you and for the watchers out there. In the finale, we are all caught up. Everybody is on the same timeline.
Okay. Every timeline has come to that point.
Yes. And Sintra has already been taken.
Which is why we see some of the things we already saw play out again.
Yeah.
Her jumping from the window.
From episode 7, that was also slightly confusing because I thought that episode 7 is mostly about Yennefer going back to the Brotherhood hideout. What's that place called?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
You know what I'm talking about. And they are debating, basically, between themselves about whether they should try to save Sintra or not, or whether they should try to stop Nilfgaard.
Right.
Well, they clearly do not make an attempt to save Sintra.
Right. Sintra goes boom.
They're just going to try to save Sodden, which is apparently the gateway to the northern half of the continent.
Which they failed to do as they get the shit kicked out of them.
And they are failing to do, and then Yennefer goes full Khaleesi.
Yes.
Burns an entire army with some special superpowers. Crazy. That was cool.
She unleashed the chaos, Barrett.
She did. She unleashed the chaos.
All the chaos.
Thank God she had reserved the chaos.
As she was told.
Unlike Vengaborts, who did not reserve his chaos.
Forgot to reserve
his chaos, or refused to. We're not sure.
Lack of chaos.
Couldn't tell whether the guy he killed, once he finally stands up in the woods and he finds that dude and he kills him.
Yeah.
Don't know if that was a good guy or a bad guy. Could not tell if Vengaborts had broken bad or not.
It seemed like they wanted us to know that he had, though. Yeah. But I was like, I was very unclear. Chaos is a ladder.
Okay. One other thing that we got from the finale, we had whatever that little metal thingy was that released little metal-looking wormy centipede-looking thingies.
Yep, those are a problem.
I just want to say, if subtitles have taught me one thing, it's that chittering is never a good thing.
Yeah.
You never want anything to chitter.
No.
Chittering means bad news, people. So just
I'm trying to chitter.
Always know Your first one was a decent chitter.
Then I fucked up from there. I apologize for the other attempts. My first chitter was decent.
But those things are chittering off, infecting people's brains, making them do bad shit.
Little kids are dropping bombs onto bomb tables.
You know, and again, this is going to be this is not so much of a complaint as just another note, but I kind of wish I already wish I had started this thought, but now I have to finish it.
I have a thought.
Now I have to finish it.
Okay.
Was it not? And again, I'm not complaining, but was it weird to have Yennefer's like tits all pushed up and out for this entire final battle scene, where she's like,
I don't know,
wrecking shit?
If by weird you mean great, then yeah, it was weird.
Like I said, I'm not complaining. It just felt like a very that was a. I'm just thinking about this show as a whole, and I am standing by one of my original sentiments -- that I stole from Laura, and now I've adapted it and tweaked it to be my own.
Sure,
but this is a rated this is a rated R CW show.
Yeah, basically.
And so, at some point, costume designers, showrunners, whoever are like picking what they want Yennefer to wear for this big battle, where she reserves and then unleashes chaos and proves herself to be the most powerful mage in all the land. And they're like, we want silver, black, very form-fitting, show off that figure, looks great, looks very, powerful and magical to a point, kind of taking some clues from some of the white and black stuff that Daenerys wore in the final seasons of Game of Thrones. And make sure that her tees look real poppin'.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works. That's exactly how it works.
I'm just watching that, and it's standing out to me.
But bro, let me give you the opposite. In this scene, Henry Cavill is going to be brooding. He's going to be in a hot tub. And guess what? He's not going to have a fucking shirt on. And we're going to prop him up so his goddamn man arms are spread like fucking dragon's wings. And his tits are popping and his fucking hairy chest is out. It goes both ways. It's not it's fine.
But I'm not even, again, it all plays into what this show is and isn't for me.
Sure. I know. I get what you're saying.
I'm saying?
Following. Yes, but
I'm not. It's not a knock. It just stood out to me as a decision that the show made, and one that kind of takes away from
Yennefer's character for you.
No, not even from her character. Just from this show's intention to be taken seriously.
Maybe, but also I'll say this in its defense. Fantasy shit has tended, if that's a word, to be written by nerds, who don't get a ton of action, and they like to write really sexy, voluptuous women into their characters.
The showrunner here is female. Like a lot of the writers and the directors were female.
Okay.
Anybody listening right now,
I hope The Witcher wasn't written by a woman. I'm just to sound like a fucking idiot. It very well may have been.
I'm kind of just snowballing with this idea that I had and kind of sussing it out and talking about it. So I'm making a bigger deal of it than it actually is.
It was a Polish male pervert. Sorry, it wasn't a pervert. I'm just kidding. His dude's name he's not a pervert.
It's just something that did stand out to me. She looked amazing.
Well, Barrett, maybe they stood out to you because they're phenomenal.
It was all great. It just was. It stood out. In contrast to something like Game of Thrones, where our two battle-hardened women, Daenerys and Cersei, in the final seasons, never showed off tea.
Very, very different vibe. Totally fair comparison.
So,
because it's all about positioning.
Right.
That being said, Game of Thrones season 1 leaned hard into like the fantasy nudity shit, and everybody was naked.
Yeah.
So it just depends on, I don't know. If we're talking about breasts for a moment, which we often do, it's just a pattern I've noticed. There was the blonde chick that turns the two lads or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she gets infected with the chitters.
Oh, so she got chitters in her first.
Yes.
Then she tells the two lads, "You're gonna go."
They also had chitters. You could see the little silver
I saw
things
it.
in their ear. Yeah.
But so did she not even have to? The chitters communicate. She looked at them and they were like, "We know."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they went and did the table bombs or whatever. But then also her bombs. Where was she the rest of the season? That's my last Witcher question.
She was one of the mages. We probably saw her a time or two.
Well, they picked the right costume for her for the finale.
Yeah. So anyway, the season ends. Nilfgaard is stopped for the moment. Geralt, Ciri finally find each other. Destiny is fulfilling itself. Yennefer, though, nowhere to be found.
Nobody knows where she
after the big firestorm.
Who knows? What's
Teacher Mage is still alive as well. I was glad. I was hoping that we hadn't seen the last of her.
I thought she was going to go out with the ship or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It looked like she was. You thought when Frangilla threw some nasty powder in her face that was it for her.
Yes.
But
turns out
'twas not.
Survived.
Yeah.
Huh. What the hell does Nilfgaard want?
No idea. Again, this show did not bother to explain any of its like motivating factors. So we have
maybe season 2.
We got no idea why Nilfgaard wants.
They're so angry.
Everything.
They were bullied. We know they were bullied.
What the White Flame is, what this crazy cult of their religion is, why they want Ciri, what Ciri is.
Who's on some of the sides? Or some of the people are confusing which side they're on, sort of.
Again, yeah, they
Black Knight guy, I'm not clear on what the fuck's going on with him.
They did some decent things to kind of. They did a good job of creating the world, of creating the mood of the world.
Sure.
But then explaining some of like the rules, for instance, or why people want certain things.
They need to do a better job.
They left off a fair chunk of that.
Yeah. Lack of explanation for many of the and I get it. That's an angle. That's one way to go. Like, oh, we're just gonna keep throwing shit at you and like refuse to explain it and just keep making shit and hope that it's cool.
Speaking of The Witcher, Netflix announced today in a very Facebook-esque move that they no longer require watching 70% of something to count it as a view. Only 2 minutes. So
that's not reasonable.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's the metrics that they're going off of.
Okay.
So The Witcher was watched by something like 75 million. Yeah, 75 million households.
Dear Lord. Yeah, this headline I'm seeing says Netflix tried to show how popular The Witcher is with a Google Trends chart. The chart compares global Google search trends for Netflix is The Witcher, Disney's The Mandalorian, Amazon's Jack Ryan, and Apple's The Morning Show. And it apparently
it's
is
big. It's
much bigger than all the ones I just named.
It's big.
Huh.
Even so, they say that their new metrics are about 35% higher.
Okay.
Like they make the number about 30-ish to 35% higher.
Boosting it a little boosty.
So, even
massive show though. Massive.
So that would still be like just under 60 million households.
I'm interested to hear
with their previous metric, which I think is even bigger than Stranger Things.
I'm interested to hear from people in the Witcher Hive, people who watched with us, people who listened to the podcast about what they thought of season 1, whether it was incredibly fulfilling and you didn't think it could have been better.
Again, the
or
members
was disappointing or whatever.
The members of the Witcher Hive though have a lot of the
shit we're asking for.
A lot of the shading that we're asking for, they already know. They're probably very familiar with Nilfgaard. They probably know what Yennefer's thing is.
Right.
Like
so they don't have all these questions.
So they have fewer questions, I'm sure.
Well, I'm interested to hear from both sides either way, like both the experienced and the unexperienced Witcher people to see what they thought. But we did it. We covered season 1.
We did.
Looking forward to season 2 at some point down the line and more, hopefully, choice costume decisions.
And a big thank you to
people.
the Witcher Hive, Stand-Up Witcher Hive.
For getting us in.
#coins for the loins.
Bringing us into the fold.
Because, I'm not sure that we would have watched this show without them, and it was quite fun.
I really enjoyed it.
It was an enjoyable watch.
Fun.
To say the least.
Indeed. This episode of OCC is also brought to you by Keeps. If you're struggling with hair loss, if you've refused to take steps to help yourself with your hair loss, or if you've tried nonsense remedies that didn't work, listen up, Clam fam. Keeps is here for you. Barrett and I both have friends. We know people in the same boat as you. It's incredibly common. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. And we're excited to provide you with the tools you need to combat hair loss. Why Keeps? Because with today's advancements in science, Keeps offers proven treatments that can combat the symptoms of hair loss and help you keep the hair you have at half the cost of your local pharmacy. You don't have to go broke to avoid going bald. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. Some of you may have tried them before, but probably never for this price. Plus, Keeps now offers a prescription shampoo to keep your scalp healthy, too. Keeps has revolutionized the way men are treated for hair loss. Thanks to Keeps, you no longer have to worry about going to the doctor's office for your hair loss prescription. You can visit a doctor online, get your hair loss medication delivered to your home. No more waiting rooms, no more pharmacy checkout lines, no more pain in the ass wasting half your day getting what you need for your dome. Get doctor attention and discreet drug delivery, all from the comfort and privacy of your couch, where you're watching all these shows with us. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/clams to receive your first month of treatment for free. Free! That's KEEPS.com/clams. Keeps.com/clams. As in oysters, clams, and cockles. Clams. Keeps.com/clams. Go save that lettuce. Barrett, let's talk about The Outsider.
Ross, I did actually want to ask you one more question about The Witcher.
Okay, one more Witcher question.
One more Witcher. Sorry. There's just, when you get to witching, it's hard to stop witching. That's what everybody's been saying.
You're so witchy right now.
Yeah. Was it a reveal to you in season 7? Were you surprised that Geralt was in Sintra when it was sacked?
Yes, that was an interesting reveal. That was a nice little twisty there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'll give him a few. There was a couple moments like that where I was like, oh, cool. That the tie back worked, like that we were playing back worked well.
Right.
It just ended up being like the way the finale unfolded was so chaotic that by the end of it, I was like, okay, so, well, he found Cirilla.
Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah.
Yes.
The Outsider. We're through 3 episodes.
Yeah, and you guys were right. Episode 2 was certainly a companion episode to number 1.
Indeed.
Sets the stage.
Yes. Which explains why they decided to just drop both.
Right, because as it turns out, Bateman is not in this show, really, beyond the first 2 episodes.
Do you think that will continue to be the case? Is he done? Are we done with Bateman for Shizzle? I keep thinking to myself, no, it's Jason Bateman. Surely they find a way to utilize this.
I think he's done.
Yeah, I think he's done too because he's the producer, right?
Maybe we get some clips or some footage if they go back to the video or something that has Bateman again.
Sure, I guess we are seeing him every episode there.
But we've moved on from
Bateman's
that
dead.
Piece of the story.
He's buried.
Yes.
Didn't it feel so quick to you though?
It was surprising. It was surprising.
The shooting scene happens, and first of all, it's insanely intense.
Yeah,
and so very much meant to put you in the position to think about mass shootings and all that shit. And just that first-person view of the slow motion of as it's unfolding. It did for me, dude.
I think about mass shootings all the time, and this did not actually make me think
I was
about
like,
mass
wow,
shootings.
this is exactly what it would feel like to be in a public place where someone pulls out a gun and starts shooting.
Yeah, I guess, you know what that probably missed me is because all I was thinking about is how dumb it was in the first place. Like, as soon as Bateman steps out, or as Terry steps out of the car, and there's all those people lining up, chanting and protesting and all that.
Clearly very angry, yes.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, wait. This doesn't actually happen. If there's some accused child killer,
they don't walk you in the front of the courthouse.
They don't just parade you through the front of the courthouse in front of not that well guarded protest lines, do they?
Especially not after they've arrested you in the middle of a baseball diamond during a Little League game.
Yes. So
Barrett, I'm sorry. And the everyone in the family of the victim, alleged victim, they all keep dying and they're all miserable.
Yeah.
So no, we're just gonna let that family just roam and hope nothing bad happens when we walk this dude in the front.
I was so taken aback with the stupidity of walking an accused child murderer through a big angry mob that I forgot to think about.
Yeah.
But you're right. The way the vibe, the mood, the way they set it all up was certainly evocative of the terror that type of
situation,
gun violence.
It was brutal.
Reeks.
Now, immediately after it happens, Terry's dead.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman. And we're like, oh, well, that was very unexpected.
Yeah.
He took a bullet to the neck or something. I thought he was fine. I thought he got grazed and he was going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's dead. We don't really touch on how it happened or watch him bleed out, really, do we? I don't think we do.
We just see
he's just dead.
We see that the bullet wound is
pretty substantial.
severe on his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he's gone. Which leaves our Ben Mendelsohn's character, the cop who has now been put on leave
Ralph,
as a result of the shooting, to figure out what the hell has happened here.
Yes. So as it turns out, Ben Mendelsohn is really our
star
protagonist.
Our main protagonist star. Yes, which, that's hard to complain about that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of what all through episode 2 specifically do we need to make sure we touch.
Well, so 2 gets the ball rolling on. I want to say it all is blending together for me a little bit.
Yeah,
but it gets the ball rolling on Ralph coming around on. He goes to visit Terry in the jail in episode 2, and they have that moment where Terry kind of tells him the story about teaching his Ralph's dead son to bunt.
Yeah, so he's like, so when you asked me if I ever touched your kid, that was some impactful shit there. That conversation.
Yes, Bateman nails that scene. So does Ben Mendelsohn. But they're really like setting you up here for. Ralph feels pretty confident that Terry didn't do it, and so they're really just like building out the whole setup, which is what if all of the evidence points to this being an open and shut case, but also the evidence points to it not, and you're pretty sure he didn't do it.
And there's this clearly
like
the supernatural stuff
at
play is going to be what we deal with through the remainder of the season. Let's jump into one area that I'm like, well, okay, what are we doing here? The angry cop who loves strip clubs that can't stop getting shit-faced and fighting people or whatever.
Jack, I believe his name is.
Yeah. So
they are doing just such an unbelievable job at creating a hateable character.
Oh, my God. The most
like
hateable
from his very first
piece
scene,
of shit.
You hate this dude.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah. He's the worst.
But he gets in. He's in the barn. Okay, he goes to the barn. He shows up out there late after everyone's already left, investigating where they found that clothing that Terry was wearing in that video footage from States Away or whatever. Where he's like awkwardly staring at the camera, and you're like, he's clearly trying to get seen here, and the belt buckle and all that.
That was the same state. That was in.
I apologize. And he what happened? So he's standing there, and he's approached by something from behind.
Yep.
And he says, "I'm a police officer. You don't have to do this," or something like that. And then he receives what amounts to like some kind of either an injection or a bite or a cut or some kind of infection thing on the back of his neck.
The way he was reacting and the way they made it all sound, I was picturing the evil force like basically taking some type of blunt object, one long in nature, and not like a baseball bat because that would be too much, but almost like a heavy stick.
Yeah.
And just like whacking the shit out of his neck.
Okay.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, I don't know. We couldn't see it.
It's obviously creating way more pain than just like a lashing might like that. So something's up because this is a nasty, evil, dark force that has done this to his neck.
He's infected, though.
But he's infected, and
one of many apparently that's infected.
It looks like the pain is at least in this case is what Dark Evil Force is using to get control of him. To get control.
Because he says, I'll do anything you want, anything to stop the pain, make it stop for the love of God, anything you want. Let's talk about the little girl. She's having the dream still. This dude that we know is the hooded dude we've seen, right? Now we know it's him because she explains the first time he came, he looked like Daddy, but his skin was wrong. So I knew it wasn't him. The second time it was a little bit less like Daddy. He was messy. The third time, even less like, and we don't find out what he looked like the third time actually because he gets cut off by the mom. Who,
well, then the fourth time she says that it wasn't Daddy.
He was blurred out.
He was more. But the fourth time, the fourth time is the most recent one. She says that a guy, he looks more muscly.
Right, muscly here and here.
So I think that he's appearing as our boy Jack. The bad cop. I think that dude's name is Jack.
Oh, because he's now controlling Jack.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Oh, this is starting to come together a little bit here.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was.
Do we think Terry Maitland was infected by this thing that had him go commit these heinous crimes? He was then uninfected, completely unaware of what he had done, explaining. Well, the thing we don't know how to explain yet is the two places thing. We also don't know how to explain the being visiting his daughter that has the ability to take faces or whatever form of its victims, which you're cop plug just very clearly explained. So there's like
Yeah,
a lot of why or how still.
Right. Obviously, we don't have the
full picture.
The full picture, but the doppelganger thing exerts some type of control, and maybe is the one that's acting, that's doing the bad
Perhaps
acts.
That's what we don't know,
because we get the old fingerprints thing.
Right. Well, no, I found it very interesting that when she said, because we find the reveal of we find fresh Terry prints, but then these blurry ones that would make him like 90 years old.
Right.
And she says the second time that he visited, it was still Daddy, but he was blurry.
Right. Right.
And then the third time, I think he was messy, maybe, or whatever. It doesn't matter the order.
Yeah.
One of them, he was blurry, though, and they kind of panned to Mendelsohn, who's, you can tell he's like, blurry. There were some other blurs. The fingerprints. It's just going to be interesting. The little girl thing is, first of all, the creepiest part of the show, when we have to watch her sitting up or standing. Little children experiencing phenomena is terrifying.
Well, this, what would you call this show? Is it a horror? Or is it like a thriller?
It's a thriller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it certainly employs
horror,
a lot of horror elements.
Sure, it does. But it still hits as a thriller.
I would agree. If I had to classify it, I lean towards thriller.
Because we're not getting any actual.
But it definitely has horror vibes to it.
Absolutely, yeah. What the hell is going on in the prison?
So the guy that slits his throat is the dude that is accused of killing the two girls.
Right.
That Holly comes up with on her web search.
So that tie, we have to assume, is going to lead her to investigating him. She finds that he slit his own throat when this other guy was going to come to kill him. He seemed to be very aware that someone was going to be coming for him and forming that.
Yeah, he saw the dude. He was getting the vibes.
This guy's coming for my ass. Yeah. Okay.
Because the prison guard was staring him down.
Yes.
They let the note through that says child killer.
For sure. But from the second we meet him, he's already getting the glasses thing going to get himself ready for this act.
Yeah, after he sees the
big guy come in.
The big guy come in and look at him funny.
Well, the story there, presumably, is that man in prison, now dead with his neck slit, was infected by this thing that caused him to kill the girls. We have a very similar situation to Terry, probably identical, if we have to guess. And that's going to help her start to unravel this. I love that cop that they brought in, by the way. She's like, what is that called? She has ESPN.
The PI?
ESP.
She's a PI.
Yeah, but she has ESP or whatever. She can fucking see shit.
So I only read this after watching the episode, so I didn't pick up on it. But she has some unexplainable knowledge base.
Yeah.
And an ability to like recall and remember and crunch numbers and do all this like weird type of shit.
She's like Rain Man, yeah.
So what they're actually saying is that she's most likely positioned as like somebody that's on the spectrum.
Probably, but there's a supernatural element to her character. She's like very much plugged into the whatever, man, and she fucking knows shit. She can feel it.
She's definitely tuned into it and aware of it.
When she goes into the hotel room, for example,
it,
and the scene starts to unfold around her, the kids are running around, the mom.
Right.
It's like she was able to walk into the room and kind of feel out what happened.
That's true.
So she for sure has something going there, but I'm looking forward to seeing her start to pull at those, because she's our girl now.
Yeah, she's
the one who's out there getting the info. Mendelsohn's on the couch back at home. She's out there. So I'm looking forward to episode 4 and where else this thing goes with her. I like her a lot.
Yeah,
very excited about that character.
Great introduction of a character, and I like that this show is obviously based on a Stephen King book, and the way that I'm describing it is that it is a page turner. I am not a binge watcher. I don't like watching multiple episodes of a show in a row. Like, I am not somebody that can sit on the couch and crush like an entire season of a show in one sitting.
I am.
Yeah. And a lot of people are. But I like to bounce around a lot more. This is a show that if all of the episodes were available, it would be incredibly difficult to not just watch 4 or 5 or the entire thing at one time.
Which means it does a very good job of teasing you.
Yeah, it does. And it's like we talked last week about how they were pretty upfront and early with the kind of like, we have a general grasp on what this evil force is able to do and is doing. Right?
I do now after this conversation.
But it's still like they still haven't shown the work. And so I feel like I'm watching. The best way to describe this, I feel like I'm watching a magician doing a really long, elaborate illusion.
Sure, illusions, Michael.
Illusions, Michael.
Yeah,
thank you. And
tricks are something that a whore does for money, or cocaine. I still can't believe they cut that line from the pilot. If you watch the Arrested Development OG DVDs, they give you the unedited version, which has the cocaine line, and then the pilot itself that they put on TV removes that line. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, they're slowly revealing like this illusion, and it's been incredibly difficult for me because this is based on a book, and I know that I could go read the plot on Wikipedia.
You son of a bitch!
And I am very, very tempted. That is how much I want to know.
Oh man, don't do it.
I'm not going to, but it's very. It's just to speak to how like good the mystery of the show is.
Sure, yeah. No,
right?
and I think it's done a better job than The Witcher in, say, giving us bits and enough to keep me like, oh shit. Like I need to find out why, or I need to understand this, and there's just enough, like, it just has its hooks in me in a way more effective than perhaps The Witcher did.
Did you know The Outsider, Stephen King's novel, was released in 2018?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So that had me thinking. I was curious, like, did the book? I wonder if Stephen King had essentially already sold the rights to this as a TV or film.
Oh, almost definitely.
Basically before the book came out.
It's entirely possible. Yes, it's possible, but it doesn't have to go that way.
And if he knew that, and if he knows that in some of his newer books, if that allows him to kind of like write a little bit better because for TV, essentially.
That's an interesting idea.
To write works that are more easily adaptable or would make good TV.
Huh. Yeah, you're right. May 22nd, 2018.
Just to compare it to something like It, which is basically not adaptable and has a whole bunch of just absolutely insane, wonky shit that you can never translate to screen.
Sure.
Such as magical turtle universe gods and child orgies.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't put those things on the movies,
Hard
unfortunately.
to put those on the old silver screen there. Anyway, I was just shocked that this book was so new.
I did not know that.
We already had the series in 2020.
I had no idea. That is wild. That is wild. Are there any other elements of The Outsider that we needed to touch on? I'm thinking the performance from Mrs. Maitland has been
really
incredible.
Good. I liked the scene between her and Ralph's wife.
That was was
really good. That one just had me. That scene in particular had me thinking about just TV writing in general, because when Glory is like, can I ask you a question? Tell me how you deal with it.
Right.
Basically, how you deal with the loss.
She's like, it's impossible.
And then her response, Ralph's wife's response is, it's impossible. It really piqued my ears because her answer to the question was not like a 1-for-1. Like the response that she gave, which I think was, and again, I'm not.
That was it.
I don't have the exact quote here, but she says it's impossible.
That's
which
the exact
is
quote.
Not really an answer to the question that Glory asked, but it like made so much sense as to what you would say to somebody and to like how you would respond. It felt very true to life.
Absolutely. It was a great
it
line.
Stood out is like, because we have a
tendency
tendency in writing to like, things are too perfect, right?
Sure.
You ask a question, you get an answer that fits that question, and that's not always how it goes.
No, that was a beautiful.
You can listen to Ross and I sit here and talk, and we occasionally follow each other up with non sequiturs or stumble over our words, or
it happens.
Don't say the exact right thing. So it was so well done and so kind of touching and moving, and also just like stood out to me as like a really nice piece of writing there.
Yeah, very real, because it's the acknowledgement that there are situations in life there is nothing you can do. The loss of a child, the loss of a husband, that is not a thing that there is a heal for. Like you struggle, you do heal, you move on, you find a way, but it's always with you. It's impossible to fully mend that wound. You can't. It becomes part of you. And that was just a great answer for like, she's like, how do you do it? It's impossible. You literally can't do it. You just have to try every day. That's the way it works. So it reminded me, that scene in particular, and it reminded me a little bit of The Leftovers and sort of that lost, sort of that Watchmen feel of a show where, yes, your situational story is that there's these murders going on in this town and there's all this chaos and we're not sure what the supernatural parts of it are yet, and there's clearly some evil force at work, and it's a Stephen King horror novel, so we know it's going to go in some weird direction. But it's about life, right? And these characters and the things that people go through, human beings go through, and communities go through, and families go through. And just it's a vehicle to explore those things. And a good show does that successfully with lines like that.
Yeah.
Like that was a real conversation that real people would have.
Yeah. This episode 3 was titled Dark Uncle.
Yeah.
Not what am I missing?
When she explained, when the new cop that you believe may be on the spectrum comes in and explains to them,
PI, she's a PI,
that they that there are all these different cultures that believe in doppelgangers, and there's different words for each one. In one place, they call it a dark uncle.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which that conversation was very important too. It was cool because it pulls in, where did Stephen King get the sort of concept for what's happening here?
Right.
And the fact that there are these cultural myths about this type of situation and doppelgangers and all of that. Yeah, fun stuff. Good stuff through 3.
This might not even be me talking to you right now. This might just be my dark uncle. You will never know.
I don't need that, man. I got enough problems. I'm gonna be real with you. Dark uncle, whichever one of you it is, I'm doing the work and going home. All right? No fucking around, dark uncle.
Dark Uncle Father Oscar?
It reminded me of the Dark Passenger thing from Dexter, which, by the way, I just finished season 1 of You, which is essentially Dexter Light if it was on EW and then didn't, or on, what do we say?
CW?
CW, and then, but didn't have boobs.
That's a shame.
Somehow a good show. I'm very upset with myself for admitting it's better than it's painted up to be.
That one is also, Netflix had
resurrected
had some metrics on
it
today, and it's super popular as well.
Well, I'm going to be doing season 2, which is apparently way better than season 1, and I thought season 1 was like really good, dude. Like I don't know if I'm getting soft or something, or maybe this is just a particular show. It just did a good job of doing the creepy serial killer show thing without overcomplicating it and making it suck.
You're probably spending too much time talking about entertainment, television, and film with me.
That could be it. That could be it. But I'm serious. You season 1 was decent, and I'm like excited to see what they do with this insane premise of a show.
Yeah.
Because it's been kind of fun. Well, and the only reason I started watching it, for the record, big fan of Chris D'Elia, the comedian. He's in season 2, and I was like, okay, Chris D'Elia, the stand-up actor, is in this creepy stalker show. I have to find out what the hell that looks like. So that's why I'm watching.
Gotcha. Yeah, I need to catch up on that one.
Also watching The Lighthouse right now. Yeah.
You are.
I'm not fucking with you people. Yeah, I'm watching everything.
You're just. That's not a. What are you doing taking a break during that though? You can't do that.
Well, you watch The Lighthouse, you'll find out why you have to take a break. If you start watching that bitch at night, it's fucking black and white and creepy as hell, and these two dudes are just yelling at each other, man.
Yeah. Do you know anything about beans yet?
Beans.
Like, why'd you spill your beans?
Yeah, people keep throwing that line at me. I think I missed that, though. Or I might have fallen asleep during that scene or something.
You'll have to...
Somebody said that to me on Twitch last night.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't
something about beans. Eat your beans. Why'd you spill... You're spilling your beans. You spilled your beans. Yeah.
I was in and out. They're just screaming at each other in a lighthouse, though. That's the movie. Okay. It's fucking awesome.
I had only brief commentary on Twitter about finishing his Dark Materials, which we never revisited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Really, really flat ending.
Oh, shocking.
Made me mad.
Oh, no.
Waste of time.
Oh, oh, wow. Yeah. Like as angry as you were with The Handmaid's Tale?
close because I feel okay with Handmaid's Tale
because it was able to sort of redeem
when
itself
I
a bit.
snipped it in the butt. I said no more.
Oh, you bounced with me.
Yeah.
I thought you got stuck. You
No,
didn't finish?
No.
Ha! Good for you.
Yeah.
I was out of there.
Yeah.
People still every once in a while I'll get a reply that's
Of
like,
Handmaid's Tale.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but Dark Materials, I went all the way through this season.
And you felt buyer's remorse.
Let me tell you something. I won't go too deep into it. At the end, though,
That's what he said.
it turns out that old Uncle Father,
Whatever his name was.
Azriel, is also separating kids from their demons. So he's not any better
Than Mrs.
Cortland, something like that.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and
Real bummer.
So after, the
little girl.
The names have just already all slipped my mind. Lyra. After Lyra brings her polar bear to the bear community, where there is a major bear fight, and Good Bear wins, takes over the bear kingdom.
Hell yeah.
He runs her to Azriel, who is splitting kids from their demons too, but he is doing that to create massive beams of energy so that he can figure out how to get to the other world, which he does by, spoiler alert, everybody, by killing Roger.
Roger. What? Why do you have to do that?
Yeah.
Roger. Billy Costa.
Murders Roger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tight.
Lyra sees it.
Oh, that's going to
There's
upset
this
her a
big
bit.
beam of light from murdering Roger,
Out of Roger's ass, presumably.
and it goes to the other world,
Uh-huh.
and she walks through it, and the season ends.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. That's no. I'm sorry. No. Nope. Glad I skipped out on that one. Now let me tell you though, dude.
You'll never have to hear Lyra say Roger again,
Because he's dead.
and he'll never get to say Lyra
Ever again. This
Yeah.
is the last time. That is a little sad. But it's a thing. I'm starting to get a feel for like that what is missing from some of these shows where they just don't quite get us there or whatever. It's like it's a very common thing, and it's like you have a good premise but you don't nail the details or something. And it's like this is another one where you just feel like they went in without enough clarity on what they were trying to accomplish. Or I don't know. That's too much money and too much of a crazy cool show.
As we hurtled towards the end, I was really trying to think critically about why I hated the show so much. Or
Didn't like it.
Maybe that's too strong. Just why it wasn't doing anything for me. Why
Sure.
I thought it was a bad show. And one of the things that I think I didn't want to admit for the first half of the season, but then finally had to acknowledge with the last 2 episodes, was that Daphne Keane is not killing that role.
Ew.
She's not very good as Lyra. And maybe she is true to the way that character is supposed to be and true to the way the character is written, but it is not. It was in large part due to her.
She crushed Logan though.
I know. I like her. I think
that's what's so weird.
Yeah.
But I even in the few I watched, that was not a good character.
No.
That did not hit.
It did not
fit.
Yeah.
Or hit.
Yeah. There was just something very I don't know. There was just something missing. It wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't translate.
It didn't translate.
If
I wasn't
she
buying
doesn't
it.
work, the show doesn't work.
The show doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, unfortunately.
And again, I do attribute a lot of that to the writing, which we talked about, several times, not being
Sure. It's
weird.
and
Like
it
it
should
was
also
pulled
be-
straight from the novel and various places was far too expository and just like long-winded.
Mhm.
And that never stopped. And so the having to deliver all of that dialogue, it just was never.
Yeah.
I won't be watching any further seasons.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't think you should put yourself through that, Barrett. Are they doing another season? Are they doing it
Oh,
too
I'm sure,
indefinitely?
I'm sure. Yeah. I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
for whatever
them not.
reason, his Dark Materials for me, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I just not interested in ever returning. But I'm glad you did. You made it all the way through to the finish line for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another finish line for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you give yourself a medal with each season?
No. But I am going to document from the get-go this year. Every single TV show.
I can't wait to see that. Several pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. That will do it for today's episode of OCC. Huge thanks to our sponsors for supporting the show. Make sure you support our sponsors. Use those codes. Listen to those reads. Go get those products to support us. And if for some reason you don't need the greatest products known to man, which are brought to you by the sponsors of Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, then you can support us directly by going to patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. Enjoy Movie Club. Enjoy the Hotline Call extravaganzas. Enjoy...
First ever Throwback Movie Club.
We're going to do...
coming out this week.
The Talented Mr. Ripley. Very excited for
I have
this.
a lot to say about it.
Barrett's first time watching. It'll
Yeah.
be like my 10th or 15th. Very stoked on that now. Did not know it was your first time watching. Makes it twice as more for me to look forward to. Patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. We're recording that episode, The Talented Mr. Ripley, tomorrow. So watch it this week. Watch it this weekend with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your uncle, your aunt, your family, your friends.
It's on Netflix.
And then you will be, stream it on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
We picked
One on
something
Netflix.
that is easy to access.
Everybody's got a login. It's 2020. We all have a login. Go on Netflix, watch it sometime in the coming days, and then you'll be able to enjoy the podcast on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, ad-free, brought to you by the members of the Crustacean Nation and the Mollusk Militia. Follow us on social media for updates on the best in TV and movie content that you can find in the whole of the internet, at Oysters, Clams, Cockles on Instagram, at Clams and Cockles on Twitter, facebook.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. You can listen to the Ross Bolen podcast, my other show, wherever OCC is available. RBP is also available. It's a humor, comedy, but also life, mental health, history, current events, pirates, animals podcast, where I talk about whatever I want, rooted in humor, rooted in comedy, but also very much tackles some of the more serious subjects that life has to offer. So, the Ross Bolen podcast, and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at WRBOLEN, at WRBolen. Mr. Dudley, where can we follow you and hear more of your voice?
Yeah, you can follow me Instagram, Twitter, at Barrett Dudley. I realized earlier this week that mostly what I do on Twitter, I quote tweet.
You are a big quote tweeter.
I'm a big quote tweeter.
Yeah.
It's because I like to shout my voice into the ether, my commentary on things that are happening in the pop culture and sports and life sphere.
Sure.
And I feel like the best way to do that is I take the big tweet from some, well-known outlet or person, and then I quote that tweet and I add comment.
Yes.
That's how I add my commentary to it. But I looked at my own timeline. It was just like, I was like, oh man, I'm a big quote tweeter. I wonder if that's annoying as hell. But but maybe
it's an effective method of using Twitter.
Maybe that's your thing. And I that's what I got going. You can check out the Club Cool podcast, where we tackle the lighter things in life. It's been a very at the end of December through January, it's absolutely dead for sneaker releases. It is finally picking up.
Damn it.
So this week we are bringing back for the first time in 2020 our Hype or Heat segment, where we break down a bunch of the just dropped or about to drop sneakers and decide if they are all hype or if they are straight heat. So you can come check out Club Cool. Follow us at Club Cool Pod. Club Cool. I do, before we go here, I just want to clarify that last Witcher take that I had. I didn't want that to be some noodle-armed take about how we can't show off female bodies on the screen. The boobs. It was just a very noticeable decision, and so I had to have a comment about it because it was so clearly a choice and a distracting one.
I take it simply as a compliment of God's work on that woman's rack. That's what it is to me. I think she would take it the same way. There was just a lot
of pushing and squeezing going on, Ross.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm staying out of this one. I just appreciate the boobage.
Just throwing it out there.
Awesome boobage. The Witcher does have some of that. That's a South Park reference.
That's a great pair of New York boobs.
Oh, old Dave. Old Dave Chappelle. And now we are leaving. Until our next helping, adios, muchachos.